All right, welcome back to Fleck Socks Podcast, episode 229. Today on the show, the fire in LA is ravaging on. We have some new info as to who may have started the fire and who's looting the fire. Then we have some fats getting discriminated against in Thailand, followed by a fridge protecting a snack in Cringe of the Week. Then in Urban Decay, we have some young, new arrivals that brought cerveza to school. We're going to tell you how illegal migrant children are ruining schools for everybody else. All this and more, it's Fleck Talks the Podcast, episode 229, ranked the best news podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleck Talks the Podcast featuring Richard Grab.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. It's that time, folks. The new year is upon us. It's time to start working out and eating right to shed those holiday calories, but don't let your snacking ruin your New Year's goals. It's a tale as old as time. The new year's here, you start working out, you're eating better, but you know what'll tank your New Year's goals faster than Elon and Vivek's credibility lately? Sugary snacks. You need to stock up on Farmer Bill's meat snacks so you can curb those hunger cravings with protein instead of sugar and carbs. As we know, Farmer Bill's jerky is free from sugar, soy, and nitrates, making it the perfect guilt-free snack, delivering what your body needs most, protein and fat. Biltong jerky keeps you full for longer than a protein bar and provides tons of energy without the crash that you would get from eating sugar. The protein and fat from Farmer Bill's keeps you full, fuels your gains, and will help you achieve your New Year's goals. Their 1-pound slabs are perfect for snacking around the house, and grab a bag of their pre-sliced biltong for snacking on the go. I recommend the bestseller bundle because you get a half-pound slab, 4 packs of pre-sliced biltong, and 2 jars of the tallow balm, which is perfect for your wintry, dry skin. And the best part? It all ships free. Use code FLECKUS15 at checkout for an additional 15% off. FarmerBillsProvisions.com is the website. It's linked in the description as well. FLECKUS15 at checkout. Thank you to Farmer Bills for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping.
Farmer Bill's Provisions, the perfect protein snack.
All right. Thank you to Farmer Bills for sponsoring.
Thank you, Farmer Bill.
Rapboy and I have been doing keto lately, and a great keto snack is Farmer Bills.
Absolutely.
Has that nice fat piece, tastes fantastic. Great ratio. A big thing with keto, which I've done before and I didn't realize, I was always really focused on the carbs and thinking every time I leave keto, because I ate too many carbs, it's the fat ratio. Keto is not a high protein diet. You have to have a lot of fat, and then when you're in that ratio, then you're in keto. And I used to think it was always carbs kicking me out, but it was actually my ratio was off. I was eating too much protein.
There you go.
It's very scientific.
Lesson learned.
All right. We have a great show for you today, guys. It's Tuesday.
Yes.
And we're in our blue-collar shirts.
Yep. Blue-collar stolen valor today. Thank you to the blue-collar men and women and not the lesbian leadership at the top of those structures who get things done every day in America.
Yep. This is for you, blue-collar stolen valor episode. Rapboy's shirt says Ray.
Yeah, I put mine on and I was like, oh, I'm going to wear this today. And then Fleckus shows up ready to film and he wore one too. So I guess he's jumping in.
I like to do a theme.
Yeah.
Just going to do a quick note before we get into the episode, guys. I have a little bit of a personal message. My neck is broken.
Mike Tyson shit. My back is broken.
Spinal. I don't know what happened. I slept weird. I almost canceled the episode.
Crazy.
I slept weird. My neck is so hurt that I don't know what's even happening.
All right. Well, play through it. Play hurt. You can't cancel a Tuesday episode for a neck injury. Everybody knows that.
Exactly.
Just stay tight.
I'm playing hurt, and I'm doing it for you guys. And if at any point in the episode things veer off the rails, it's because of my neck injury.
Okay.
Oh,
good PSA.
I shouldn't have turned that far. It hurt. I might just have to go like this.
I know.
Okay, we have a great episode. Lots to get to. Lots of fire stuff, unfortunately. But we're going to start with some DEI stuff. Apple is not stopping their DEI program. That's kind of the headline from the week.
Yeah, the Apple board actually opposed a proposal to abolish DEI programs. And so that was like a bunch of former politicians and business people actually voted on it.
Yeah.
And said, no, let's keep this stupid shit.
And it's easy to do that when all the innovation for your company is done and you're just selling like new iPhones as the old ones become obsolete. You got kind of people stuck in a consumer loop where they have to keep buying. And then there's no USB drive. You need the USB-C cord. Got to buy that too. It's easy to do that when it's not like the company in the garage saying, hey, we want to put a computer on your phone.
Yeah, they're not exactly innovating anymore. And actually that takes us to our other piece, which is Meta. Facebook, Zuckerberg disbanded their DEI, also took tampons out of the men's room.
Yeah.
So that was like a big one. Meta's obviously a gigantic company, and kind of juxtaposing Apple there, who's now become an iPhone printer and DEI enthusiast, right?
Yes. Very interesting. And that's a big day. That's like when the statue gets toppled in the bad guy country.
Is your neck hurting?
Yeah.
Neck's hurting. Can't really do a good bit. Yeah, like Saddam Hussein's statue toppling.
Yeah, like that.
Or Gaddafi getting dragged through the street. Something like that is what you would say if you had a fully functioning neck. All right. I guess I'll take over. But yeah, so actually Zuckerberg, this all comes after Zuckerberg was on Joe Rogan's podcast, in which he was specifically talking shit about Apple.
Yeah.
And he was saying the same thing that you were just saying about Apple is not innovating. They're just iPhone printing. They're making you stay in their little app store ecosystem, sending blue messages to each other. And yeah, it's sad. I mean, what have they done recently? They print iPads, iPhones, new headphones every once in a while, and they're trying to do a $3,500 VR thing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
That's it. The DEI is still there. Meta is not doing DEI. And then obviously, Zuck, is he our guy? No.
Yeah.
But he's trying to come back, so maybe we can make him sacrifice something in order to be let back in the fold.
Well, a lot of right-wingers go like, oh, he's not our guy, which obviously I agree. But it's better than him doing, like, rowing the boat in the opposite direction.
Like doing what he used to be doing when he spent like $500 million on the 2020 election for the Democrats, collecting all the ballots.
Exactly. It's a step, right? And that's all it is. Nobody has to be based or fucking our guy. It's better than doing the exact opposite of what he's doing.
Exactly. All right, let's get to our next story. Michael Cohen, disgraced lawyer, he is begging for a pardon on MSNBC.
Regarding the pardon, yeah, I put in the application for a presidential pardon because I believe that Joe Biden has the same responsibility to me that he had to his own son. And I would expect that the same exact pardon that he gave his son has to go to me and to anybody else that's on that enemies list, whether they want it or not.
Ooh, begging. He's scared.
He said there's an application.
Yeah?
I didn't. He said I put in my application like there's an online whitehouse.gov pardons form or something.
And then there's just some intern going, approved, 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 approved.
Joe Biden never looks at it. And Michael Cohen, I mean, he's a different kind of guy than Hunter Biden or Fauci or a true Democrat henchman. He's like a former right-wing turncoat rat.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I don't think you get the same pardon level as the homies. Right?
Yeah, or especially the same pardon level as someone's son who's just trying to have fun.
Exactly. He was just trying to have fun, and he was banging prostitutes and shit. He had a gun.
Staying up all night.
No big deal.
Geeked out. That's, that's a little different than Michael Cohen, who's like a political opponent of Trump, and now Trump's back in office. He went all in, and he bet on the fact that Trump wouldn't win in 2024. And here we are.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see who gets pardoned at the midnight hour. Liz Cheney and Fauci are the two that have been floated out there a lot. And we'll find out in like 8 or 9 days, right?
Yep, exactly. All right, there's a new update. Our next story, in the Derek Chauvin case, the restraint that was used, the knee on the back, Katie Blackwell, I believe who was like the chief of police or something, she went on the record and testified that knee on back restraint was illegal, not taught, never used.
She, quote, didn't recognize it.
Didn't recognize it. And then we actually found a clip of her using the restraint in 2014. And then there's a bunch of cops within that department who have come out and said, yeah, this is what they taught us. We do this all the time. So that's another piece of evidence that might get reintroduced in the Derek Chauvin case, which would hopefully get Derek Chauvin free in 2025. Perfect timing for Trump's new term. BLM goes crazy. we're running 2016 all over again.
Yeah, you hear a lot about like old black guys in the 70s or whatever who got railroaded, or like, this piece of evidence wasn't done the right way. And it's kind of looking like that's exactly what happened during a moment of mania to Derek Chauvin. And yeah, you said she was chief. She was then promoted to assistant chief after she gave that testimony. So rewarded for her little rat behavior.
Rewarded for a lie.
Michael Cohen turncoat shit again.
And then she's a lady cop.
Yeah.
She might need to restrain someone with her knee on their back.
Yeah, Deb.
All right, our next story is a quicker one. Remember like 3 years ago when the show first started, I was saying how it feels like they're microwaving us.
Yeah.
I think I was proven right. There was a message from a transition message from the Biden administration to the Trump administration. And can you kind of give the synopsis?
Yeah, White House will brief the incoming Trump administration on anomalous health incidents potentially caused by pulsed electromagnetic energy systems.
So it sounds like they're cooking us.
Yeah, they're cooking Washington, D.C. bureaucrats. I think you're just still schizophrenic.
But they could use that technology on their political opponents, which could be us.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is why we wear the shirts.
If they go down the list of podcasts, they go, right this mid-tier, Fleckus Talks, him and Rat Boy, zap them.
Which is why we're in disguise in our blue-collar shirts. They'll just think we work on this house or something.
That's true. All right.
Okay.
There you go. Something to watch, though. I mean, and that was like, that's kind of the same description as the Havana Syndrome shit that happened to the U.S. diplomats in Cuba.
They just go they go zzz, and you don't hear it, and then you go, and then your brain gets fried.
All of a sudden you wake up, your neck hurts, and you can't do the podcast anymore.
That would explain a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I might get proven right in the end when I'm like Muhammad Ali and I can't do the show anymore. And it's like, they've been frying this guy. We actually caught him.
He's like, I used to do a podcast.
Okay, we got to calm down.
Yeah, we're going too far.
We're going too far and too fast.
Okay.
Okay, we obviously have a huge migrant problem. We have for a long time. Richard Rapway had a tweet about that problem, which I think could solve it.
I said, if you can't eat a bacon cheeseburger, you can't come to America.
That would take care of a lot of our problems.
Bacon, hamburger,
cheese, beef.
It's pretty Americana to
mixing
eat a
it
bacon
all
cheeseburger.
up.
Yeah.
I think that you're onto something there, and then that would prove assimilation. So if you come from India and you don't eat cows, you eat the bacon cheeseburger at your trial if we decide if you're a citizen or not. And if you do, then we decide if we keep you or not.
Yeah, I think that we need to move away from like box checking and like the pop quiz on the U.S. Constitution and stuff, and more into applied behavioral benchmarks.
Smart.
And still, even at this point, this was more a bit. I'm actually all for zero immigration at this point.
Yeah, that's a
so
good
this
point.
is just a bit if we had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what we should have done at the start. We didn't. We let everyone in. Everyone's got to go.
Exactly.
All right, we're in our fire section. It's a little bit of a long section, but I'm not going to say speed round it, but we are going to have a little pace to the fire section.
Okay.
First things first, the budget cuts. People are going back and forth saying it's not true. Gavin Newsom released his own website that wasn't fact-checked and then said, we're fact-checking all the information. We do have some facts here. $48.8 million from their budget just days before the fire broke out. Karen Bass demanded the cut.
Yeah, that was the LA mayor. So we have both mayor and mayoral, city level and state level from Gavin Newsom. Embattled California Governor Gavin Newsom slashed funding earmarked for fighting wildfires by more than $100 million this fiscal year, a review of the state's budget found.
$100 million this year.
And then this, again, I mean, we've done this with North Carolina, too, when you kind of like finally have a disaster and then you look back at how much you spent on illegals and it gets disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, and then so here are some of the examples. $28 million was cut from multiple state conservancies to use on wildfire resilience, which, do we need that?
We don't need that.
$12 million from a home hardening pilot program to make homes more resilient. $8 million from fire monitoring and research spending, and the list goes on, but it totaled $100 million.
And then the total cost of destruction so far in California is around $150 billion in damages.
Yeah, the number keeps kind of going up, and not everything's still contained at this point, and who knows when another illegal is going to torch up a small bush or something and kick it off again, right?
Well, $150 billion in damages. Maybe Ukraine can help us out in our time of need.
Yeah, Somebody should send some back. I don't know.
We helped you guys, and now you're going to help us, right?
Yeah, we finally have a natural disaster, and then all of a sudden there's nothing in the budget, but Ukraine and illegals were getting all the money for the last 3 years.
Exactly. And then I saw this Newsy Johnson meme, which I thought was funny. This physiognomy has cost society billions. And it's Karen Bass, also the same as
Lori Lightfoot.
Lori Lightfoot.
Yeah. Two of the lady mayors.
So let's get into who potentially started the fires. A lot of people are saying illegals and cartel members and people doing it on purpose. Can you read the Bill Malhusian tweet?
Yeah, he said, per ICE sources, the man seen in a viral video being subdued by residents and arrested by police with a blowtorch in West Hills is an illegal alien from Mexico named Juan Manuel Sierra Leyva. He's in custody on a probation violation, meaning he's already committed a crime, and has not been charged with arson.
Not been charged with arson. And then we had, this is actually him getting subdued here.
Yeah, we'll play it in the background.
We'll play it kind of sped up.
He's got a blowtorch in his hand, and then the townsfolk, the
round him up.
Yeah.
And they round him up. And then another guy, Charlie Kirk tweeted this too. Can you read what that tweet says?
Well, this is the same guy. It said, arson suspect arrested yesterday had 5 cell phones on him and a United Nations prepaid debit card.
Ah.
So he's one of them. He's one of those types.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so when it comes to these types, I do think, like, who's actually doing it? I think it's illegal aliens doing it on purpose for the cartel and the deep state.
Drug addicts,
homeless people who are just crazy and go, oh, everything's crazy. I'm crazy.
Better light that pallet on fire.
Exactly. You have a few of those street rats. And then there's direct energy weapons, which we'll find out if there's any houses with blue roofs still remaining.
Okay.
And then the guy got arrested. He had a blowtorch near where the fire started. And then here's what a policeman said about the incident.
But they responded, they interviewed this suspect. After the interview and additional investigative steps, looking at some additional evidence that was present, they made the determination that there was not enough probable cause to arrest this person on arson or suspicion of arson.
Okay, not enough probable cause.
Blowtorch in your hand during the fires, illegal on probation, but, didn't quite breach that probable cause threshold.
Not enough for the probable cause. All right, and then like we said, a lot of the fires in the past in LA have been started by homeless people and street rats and deranged individuals. We have a couple articles, headlines that tell that same story, but then there was also something very insightful that the firefighters are telling the media. Can you read that tweet?
Yeah, Fox 11's Gigi Graciette says that she's been told by firefighters how often they're not allowed to admit on camera that a fire was caused by homeless camps, because it's a controversial topic the city government does not want discussed.
You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
And then we have a couple headlines here, like over the last few years. It's interesting because it's like a problem and that people have written about and have articles about. All of a sudden, it's like not an issue when the worst $150 billion fires come out. Up in flames, rising number of homeless fires threaten LA neighborhoods. Homeless arsonist sparked 9 fires in November, including in East County. Data shows explosive growth in homeless-related fire calls. And then here's another paragraph. Data obtained by a public records request shows that in 2018, San Diego, that's just a comparable city, firefighters responded to 739 fire-related incidents where the words homeless, transient, or encampment were mentioned as a keyword. In 2019, that number was 944. So 739 to 944. And so far in 2020, it's over 1,000. So it's like this trend, this clear and visible, the homeless issue hasn't gone down or hasn't been solved at all. But then all of a sudden, when it comes to this particular fire and this group of fires, yeah, we can't bring that up. We didn't write those articles. Forget it, right?
We don't want to be mean to the street rats.
Exactly.
Or we don't want people to know that our policies are getting everyone killed and everyone's house destroyed.
Yeah.
So while everyone's houses are being destroyed by the fire that's burning right now, there's a lot of looting going on. And then the Citizen app, which is like a local community app where you can talk about crime. My window just got broken. Someone's trying to steal my car, whatever. Here we have a screenshot of all the looting in Bel Air, Brentwood, all great, nice areas, Pacific Palisades.
Yeah.
Great areas in LA.
It was a screenshot from like an individual who lived in that area, attempted break-in, report of person setting fire to, 3 masked men breaking into, group attempting to break into home, people looting evacuated homes, just constant stream of it. The rats, you know, as soon as the facade of society kind of blinks for a second, the street rats move in.
They move in. This is their time. And then some of them are moving in wearing firefighting outfits so they can loot better.
Yeah. This guy's got the jacket, but then he's got like some skinny jeans and random sneakers. So you can kind of tell, but it's interesting. They're ready to go and they'll steal that. That's a parlay crime where you steal the jacket first and then you go do the next crime.
Yeah, that gets you to higher level access.
Exactly.
And that whole thing too, looting. But remember, because George Floyd, looting's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Remember, you can steal. So it's like all the homeless people, all the illegals, LA people brought to their country and their state, and all the homeless people they never arrested, and all the criminals they never kept in jail, and the illegals they brought here are now either starting the fires or looting the fires. It's almost like what's it called? A comeuppance. It's like all the bad policies created the fires, and then all of the bad policies are like the aftermath of looting the houses after the fires.
Yeah, it's a confluence of events leading up to like the worst possible combo.
Yeah.
Illegals, bad fire preparation, not holding criminals responsible, and it all kind of weaves into this horrible situation for the actual rich and productive members of the city.
But before this, it feels good when you live in Bel Air and you say, there's no illegal people. They just want a better life.
Yeah, no one's illegal.
The prison pipeline's getting out of hand. Okay, enjoy your chaos.
Yeah, then they steal your fine art off your walls.
Exactly. Okay, the Palisades Village Mall, which is in Pacific Palisades, was developed by Rick Caruso. He hired private firefighters to protect the mall, and they ended up surviving the fire.
Yeah.
And then Rick Caruso also ran against Karen Bass for mayor in 2022 and lost. So probably would have been better off if he had won, you know?
Yeah. And so I think it was mainly hiring private water tankers that they're treating the water tankers as like a mobile fire hydrant, basically. So it's enough to prevent. And actually, side note, I know we're trying to rip through this, but I've seen some other videos of people kind of staying and fighting, and like individuals who are like, "Oh, I've lived here forever. I had to stay." And I think the way some of these fires spread towards houses, it's like when you leave. I'm not like giving advice to stay when there's a wildfire ripping through, but I think there is. If you show a little fight, you kind of have a hose, and they're very small embers. Your house doesn't just go up. You know what I mean? So I think a little bit of proactive work from individual homeowners and Rick Caruso here, like as the mall owner, it goes a long way in these situations. Is what I'm learning.
I saw an old man who was like 90 years old with a garden hose with like half power saved his house.
Exactly.
So that's a good point.
Because if you're out there active and you're sniping, you know, it works.
Exactly. And then Michael Seifert, the CEO of Public Square, he had a great tweet that summed up the whole situation. Can you give that a read?
He said, "It's amazing that our government will tell you with a straight face that they can't stop a regional fire, but if you just pay more in taxes, they can change the entire global climate. It's even more amazing that anyone believes them."
Yeah, well, hopefully not for long.
Yeah.
You know? And then next, we're going to get into the response. And we made the joke, or actually it wasn't even a joke, it was the truth. But
it was reality. The reality was the joke.
We pointed out the reality that everyone was a lesbian who's in charge of the fire department. And then one of those lesbians, a different one. A new lesbian, they came out and did a report. And listen how they start the debriefing for the active fire.
Good afternoon. I'm with the Los Angeles Fire Department. We're here at the Emergency Operations Center with some information for our fellow Angelinos. My name is Captain Jennifer Wilcox. My pronouns are she, her. I am a Caucasian female wearing a black shirt uniform with eyewear and a black hat.
The fire is happening right now.
You're trying to get information, like your neighbor's house is on fire. You're like, what? She's fucking wearing a black hat? Come on.
Speed through this. And then the interpreter, who's at everything, he's been busy going crazy. Half the thing he's describing is just the nothing.
Yeah, the scenery. This is how it all goes now. There's no tight information. It's all a preamble. We're on stolen land. I'm wearing a black hat. My pronouns are she, her. And it's like you're 2 minutes into the video before she says anything of substance.
The city burned down because you guys didn't prepare properly. And we're talking about what we're wearing. So like a blind person listening can like, oh, okay, I get it. Fire lesbian with a black hat and eyewear.
Yeah.
got it.
Dragging out another lesbian to do this at this time. They're tone deaf. They're not really learning anything, right?
Exactly. And then next we have another guy who's talking about the wildfires and the windstorm update, and listen to what he sounds like.
Thank you, Supervisor, for the introduction. I'd like to share some important announcements about the county's emergency alert system and the progress that we've made with our partners in addressing the alerts.
It's just another gay guy.
He's just a twink. He's a West Hollywood firefighter. He actually brings his outfit to the bar and he goes crazy. He gets up on the bar.
Yeah.
He's not wearing anything underneath the overcoat.
Yeah.
And
I
I
want
want
to test this guy for poppers.
Yeah, he's a poppers fiend. I don't know. And I wanted to play that a little longer than you did because obviously we found out he was gay within the first sentence. But that's another thing going on. There's been a ton of erroneous emergency alerts to people's phones. They're just sending out evacuate right now. And then they send it 3 times. And then they say again, ignore or something. So,
Oops.
Oopsie.
I just sent it to everybody.
So nobody's really doing the right thing. And then that guy actually had...
Oh, the interpreter.
He had the interpreter who was just off camera. And he's gay too.
He's gay too.
Look at his face. He's doing facial expressions while he's doing this.
Why is the city burning? We have all the homosexuals involved. That's probably part of it.
It's not giving anyone hope, right?
And then this is like, you can't just send a Tom Homan type. You can't send a O-line coach in there to go, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get this under control. We need a day to really blah, 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 establish a perimeter. You can't send in a henchman?
No.
You have to have the gay guys?
No. Oh, hey, I'm a henchman. I'm wearing a top hat and an oversized coat. My pronouns are henchman.
Yeah, I work for the boss.
Let's get this cleaned up.
And then I'm going to like extrapolate here and maybe take this further. And I don't know, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But when you put all these gays and homosexuals and lesbians in charge, like it feels good in the beginning. Oh, there's a lesbian fire chief. There's a gay guy doing poppers and he helps out too.
Yeah.
He's got a bucket. But then you do that and it feels good. But then when an emergency happens, the bad guys who put those people in charge always knew the emergency was coming. And then when the emergency comes, people like us go, oh, it's these gays and lesbians who weren't prepared. And now the whole city burned down. And the bad guys who knew the crisis was coming all along, that kind of gives them an out. Where it's like, oh, yeah, well, and then we'll do the fire. And then we'll blame the lesbians and gays, and no one's going to go past that, and they'll have like a scapegoat, basically. Because the bad guys who put those people in power, they knew all along the fire was coming. But the gay guys go, "Ooh, I got a new job. I'm the fire chief. I can't believe it. This is crazy.
You're paying me $450 a year. I've never even made 2.
This is great." And then you don't know what you're doing, and then something horrible happens, and the bad guy goes, "Oh yeah, when the horrible thing happens, they're gonna blame you."
Another thing that I'm seeing, and that's more like it was planned out, which I don't necessarily agree with, but whatever. You know, that's
how the show goes.
That's how the show goes. But another thing is the left online and on Twitter and stuff is kind of like arguing in this way that there's no reason that 4 of the top 5 firefighters are lesbians. They're arguing like, how am I supposed to even talk with MAGA? And it's like, you're saying there's 0%, nobody had their hand on the scale when they made 4 of the top 5 people lesbians? Like, there's a delusion to that. Like, obviously, we're exaggerating for humor and unpreparedness, right? Obviously, they all have some experience. Are they the best candidate? No, we don't believe that. We believe they were chosen for an agenda, which is to, you know, kind of like get out white men and elevate whatever voices. It's the DEI shit, right? And then the left is acting like there's 0 and the best man got the job. And that man was the lesbian lady from Harvard.
And we're mad about that.
Yeah.
But because there's a thing where the odds that the top 3 people in the LA Fire Department are lesbians is like 1 in whatever times 1 in whatever times 1. So it's like 0.000 something. Yeah. But then the odds that those 3 lesbians are the most qualified for the job, we're talking about getting struck by lightning on your birthday with the lotto ticket that won.
Yeah, it's getting slim. It's getting slim.
Yeah, it's getting real slim.
How's the neck?
I'm doing my best.
That was lotto ticket with the thing? That was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was on point.
That wasn't even written
What's
down.
that over there?
Can't look. I can't look. I can go this way a little bit, but there gets to a point where I get in trouble.
All right.
Okay, Cernovich had a great tweet that summed up just the mindset of liberals and how liberalism can't exist without right-wingers.
He said, liberalism can only exist when there's a right-wing militancy and culture underneath it. Shit libs are learning this in real time. Your little open borders pals are looting. You don't have concealed carry. You are weak and helpless without us, the American right.
So true.
And that's the good times create weak men, right? Like the good times, you have that base where everyone's having a good time based on like strong right-wing militancy, and then eventually it crumbles down when you make too many poor decisions, and then Rome falls, you know?
Exactly. And then we have a meme here. We're going to go fast through that. At least we still have abortion.
Yep.
LA loves abortion. That was important when you voted, and everyone you vote for has to be a person of color or gay. Okay.
You can't forget that was like the main issue from the 2024 presidential election was abortion.
Exactly. All right, we're going to finish this section strong. A lot of these houses have smart meters, which was like required recently. And a lot of the new houses or whenever you do an update, you put a smart meter in. And this is an old video about smart meters, and we're going to wrap it all together with some more info about them.
A lock and chain secures his old analog meter with a clear notice, attention, do not install smart meter. The retired mechanical engineer says smart meters are dangerous.
The smart meter is not safe for the following reasons. Again, it emits high-frequency radio waves, and you don't feel them, you don't know about them, but they penetrate your body and they can cause health problems later on.
Slowinski says the radio waves go through concrete walls.
My bedroom is right next door, and it will emit high-frequency waves, so I'm worried about my health and my children's health.
And he has another concern.
They catch fire because there's very high voltage inside.
So they also catch fire. So obviously in the beginning, that's about the microwaving and stuff like that, the frequency waves, it's not good. But then at the end, he says they catch fire. They have the tendency to catch fire because it's kind of a volatile situation. And then I saw someone else post about the smart meters with the lithium-ion batteries. Can you read that?
Yeah, smart meters have lithium-ion batteries. When these batteries catch fire, they have what's called the thermal runaway, where they will go from 140 degrees Fahrenheit to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit in just a few seconds. The smart meter is connected to the copper wiring of the home, which is designed to travel electricity due to its conductivity. Along with being conductive, the copper wires are also great at heat transfer via convection. So when these supposed forest fires hit neighborhoods but burn more homes than trees, the culprit in the usual fire forensics looks to be the lithium-ion batteries. It's no wonder these homes are burned to dust while trees are standing within feet of the house. These homes are burning from the inside out, literally. The copper wires in the homes are insulated and carrying extreme heat to every corner of the home.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Something to think about. That rings true to me. I don't know much about that kind of stuff, but that rings true to me.
For sure.
Especially when the smart meters is probably like in LA, you have to do this or you can't get a permit or you can't blah, blah, blah. And then everyone has to do it, and then it's for something like this.
Yeah.
A lot of the issues with the fire, too, the natural gas was not turned off in some neighborhoods. This guy's going around and turning off the pipes manually after the houses are already gone.
What we're doing today.
Actively shutting off the gas to these homes.
Listen to this. Oh my God, it stinks. Watch
fucking electrical wires everywhere and shit.
Watch yourself. Come off. There you go.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That explains why it kept going crazy, you know?
It's at least part of it. It's an accelerant.
Yeah, at least an accelerant. And then there's some people, I don't know if this is humorous. This is humorous to me, and we're just going to let it play.
I mean, it's really just my cat. I don't care about anything else in there. I literally just want my cat.
Your mom needs her medication. She's been very vocal towards the sheriff's deputies.
Just want my cat. Your mom needs her medication.
The reporter correcting her.
Yeah. And then this guy left his dog to die and then was so happy when he came back and it was there.
It's Tika Tika! It's Tika Tika! It's Tika Tika! Hi, Boo-Boo! How's the fire? Oh, honey! Oh, honey! Oh, my God, you're alive! You're alive! Oh, honey! Oh, woo! Woo!
I think he asked the dog, how was the fire?
Yeah, and you couldn't take that dog with you? The dog's like a handheld dog.
Yeah. I don't know. There's more to this story. He saw the news crew over his shoulder. It's like, there's my dog. I'll go crazy.
That was a little weird. And then also Pacific Palisades, all the houses are like $5 million.
Yeah.
So I think that guy's parents own the house.
Okay.
I don't think he's like some sort of savvy businessman who got a nice house in Pacific Palisades.
For sure.
He seems to be living at his parents' house because of the way he acted.
Understandable.
All right, our last piece of this section, the scamming that's going on. Elizabeth Warren posted a link to Act Blue for donations, and only 3.95% of all transactions go to the actual cause.
No, your neck must be acting up. It's a link to Act Blue, Democrat fundraising platform, who takes 3.95% of all transactions.
Well, that's way better than how I thought it was.
But still, it's like Elizabeth Warren, support help the communities around LA. And it's like, we'll just take a little less than 5%, so it's okay for us to kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
She got fact-checked, community noted. It's just scummy shit. I saw Cernovich was going hard. He was hand-delivering supplies, like didn't want the money to even touch his bank account. There's different types of people who pop up during these. Another thing, this isn't necessarily scammy. Maybe it's just in poor taste. Mandy Moore addresses backlash after sharing in-laws GoFundMe amid LA fires. There's like a certain like celebrity GoFundMe thing. And I understand people are kind of like stuck in a house that went way up in value. Like there are certain people who I feel really bad for, but the other people who can afford like a $4 million house, it's kind of like, yeah, you got to eat this one. It sucks, but you have to eat it. And if that means downgrading to a $1 million house for a little while, that's kind of what you have to do, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think, hopefully everyone's insurance was still intact, and if it went away, you should have kept it.
And then the people who had their insurance canceled, your insurance doesn't really get canceled if you have a mortgage because you're required to have it as a part of your mortgage. So the people whose insurance got canceled already owned the house. But another piece of that is like the build cost in LA, like the existing houses have gone up so much in value that the rebuild cost in LA is like up to 200% of what your house actually costs.
Wow.
So a lot of people are stuck in a fucked up situation. Here's another one. This is someone who was asking for GoFundMe donations. If you're inclined or able to help, here's a GoFundMe and a Giveth, which is anonymous crypto donations. And then this person has an NFT profile picture of a crypto punk that's worth like $800,000.
Really?
That's what they said. That's what people are saying. So it's like kind of like this weird, help me with the GoFundMe, my $5 million house, and I have this $800,000 asset. I don't know, man. It's giving me, it's a weird thing, right?
It's a weird thing.
Obviously, you got to help your friends and stuff, but then the people who are like, let's crowdfund my $5 million house doesn't really sit right.
Doesn't sit right with me either.
So.
Okay, that's the end of our fire section. Let's get into the final page of housekeeping where I can talk about whatever I want. Before we get there, make sure you guys use this opportunity to help us juice the algo. Leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping. Notifications need to be on. P.O. Box needs to be full. Old episodes need to be watched.
Yep.
Okay, it's winter. Snow goes a lot now. There's a little bit of a hack to go snow less.
Just put down a giant plastic tarp when he knew it was going to snow. And
that's perfect job.
Yeah, and the walkway's clear, baby.
And it probably gets heavy, but
it doesn't look like he's struggling.
It rolls. Look at that.
There you go.
So, yeah, if you guys do that and film it and shout us out, that would be awesome.
Okay.
All right, next we have Karate Boy. This is Chinese Karate Boy. Yeah.
There's a belligerent, and he just hits him with the leg lock, flip around slam.
All-star.
Easy money.
First round draft pick.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Okay, that's it.
That's
no
it. I just wanted to show it.
Okay.
We're running out of time for housekeeping. We got to go kind of fast.
Sure.
Okay, next is a nightmare at sea. People are in the ocean messing around, and the worst possible thing happens.
Looks like a stingray heading towards two civilians.
And they're looking the other way. We're having fun in the ocean. I'm going to do a backflip. Oh, you landed on the giant mad stingray, and he's going to kill you for it.
He's coming after him.
Whoa.
Is that a manta ray or a stingray?
I don't know.
I don't know the difference either.
Yeah, either one.
Okay.
But super crazy.
All right.
Next is a little piece of advice I saw that resonated with me, and I thought it was something I should share with you guys.
All right, you can read it then.
If you've dug yourself into a hole that's too deep to get out of, the best thing you can do is keep digging until you hit oil. Doesn't that kind of ring true? Gamble even harder in 2025. I don't mean it for gambling.
Horrible advice.
I don't mean it for gambling. I don't encourage anyone to gamble. But
he's talking about betting on this is a crypto guy. So.
Yeah, it's like, if you had a vision and you had a plan and it's not going your way, double down if you're maybe right still.
Okay.
All right, next is an aliens thing.
You're on your own on this one, too.
I had the opportunity over the years to interview, again, people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. I said, can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025.
2025. 2025.
2025.
That's
so
this year.
Groom Lake is Area 51.
Yeah.
And 2025 is when it happens. And guess what year is now?
2025.
Yeah. And then there's another government document that had the same thing. And then can you read the 2025 part?
Most of the inter-atmosphere operations occurred in the Western Hemisphere and in the areas of Europe and Asia, with populations consisting of network selectees. This was a term that the aliens used to identify persons destined for contact. These contacts were conceived and predestined prior to birth and was scheduled to be accelerated and increased throughout the 3 decades prior to the year 2000, when the network would initiate the transition. The transition was a term that meant full contact occurred around the Terran year 2025.
2025.
Wow, you're seeing the signs. The writing's on the wall.
That's now. And then there's some people who are predestined for contact.
Okay.
Which, out of the two of us, I think I know who it would be.
Me, because I'm less likely to believe. They don't want to deal with people who want to see them really bad.
That's true.
They would come to me and they'd go, see, told you.
And then you're like a non-believer who would convert to believer. Me, I already think I see him.
Yeah, you're like the person on the top of the building on Independence Day being like, beam me up, and then you get fucking ion bolted.
Yeah.
You get blown up.
Okay, you guys know 1 pound fish? Very, very good. 1 pound fish. Very, very cheap. 1 pound fish.
Yeah.
1 pound fish. 1 pound. He's a show watcher. Well, I was gonna say he's a show watcher, but he's promoting the show.
Hello everyone, here is Shahid, the 1 pound fishman. If you love to good talk, fresh news, funny moments, news about culture, a good video and a good content, you must watch Fleckers Show and Fleckers podcast interviews. Come on ladies, 1 pound fish, come on weavers, watch the Fleckers Show, have a look, 1 pound fish, have a look. Fleckers Show is very, very good. Fleckers Show is very, very nice. Come on ladies. 1 pound fish, 6 for 5 pound, 1 pound each. Very, very good and very, very cheap. Come on ladies. Today fish 1 pound each. 1 pound each, 1 pound each.
Keep it going.
Come on.
A little bit more.
Well, you got the point.
Well, the next part's really good. Please, a little bit more.
Very good and very cheap. Very good and very cheap. 1 pound fish, 1 pound fish. Have a look. Fleckers Show, very, very good. Fleckers Show is very, very good. Fleckers Show is very, very nice. Fleckers Show is very, very good. Fleckers Show is very, very nice.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's got to balance how much he does the original 1 pound fish with how much he puts in the new cameo content.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very
how much
good.
does this run you?
100 British pounds.
Okay. Nice. Worth it.
Worth every penny. I would have paid
tax
1,000.
deductible.
Yeah.
That's free. That's for the show.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, next, before we get into Cringe of the Week, we gave a car away to a bonus land watcher, Walter, great guy. We met him, we gave him the car, we signed over the title, and now he has this car.
The Henchman Maxing 1 car.
Henchman Maxing 1 car. So more reason to join bonus land. You join bonus land, you get a car. It's that simple.
Legally, we cannot say that. We only gave it to one person.
Okay, last piece of housekeeping before we move on. Leanne Brown, an artist.
Come on, get through it.
Antarctica.
Boy.
Okay, she did a painting, which I bought because I had to. Nancy Pelosi.
There you go.
On her trip to Italy.
Smart.
Saved forever. Look at that. I'm going to frame it.
What is that? Pen? Is that pencil? What is it?
Pastel? Yeah, pastel type thing. She wrote what it was, but it was high-end shit.
Okay.
But yeah, the Nancy Pelosi melons pick.
All right.
Lives on forever. All right, that's the end of housekeeping. Moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, welcome to Cringe. We have a lot of cringe. We have a lot of urban. We're going to go kind of fast because we spent a lot of time on the 1 pound fish.
You're just not a very good planner. You're always going fast through shit.
You know what? The show might go long.
There you go.
Oh, my neck. I shouldn't have turned like that.
Hey, that's all right. You know,
okay,
sometimes
the show
it's like, what do we go long? It's like it's a 5-minute difference. You know, it's no big deal.
True. So true.
No big deal.
No one even keeps track of them.
I know.
When it goes long, they go, great, it's long.
I know.
Oh, my neck.
Yeah.
Okay, our first clip is, you guys know the multi-level marketing types, the salespeople that sell you on how to be a salesperson.
Yeah. The internet is full of them now. They want you to sell solar. And there are some totally reasonable sales jobs out there.
Yeah.
There's a certain type of guy out there who markets himself and that we just really disrespect. We don't like.
And let's let this play. This is a young, what's it called? A disciple of Andy Elliott, who is this guy, which, remember, we covered this on the podcast where him and his wife were talking about how they only need 20 minutes a day with their kids. Yeah.
And then the other 23 and a half hours are for selling.
Yep.
So these guys are kind of a meme, and this is one of his henchmen.
If they're like, man, I can't afford it right now. Somebody says that to me on the phone, and I know they're a lower earner. I say, dude, what do you have in the bank right now? I've got 10 grand. Okay, man, let me tell you something real quick. There's this thing, and we're going to figure out right now how bad you really want to go to your new life, okay? There's an entertainment budget, and then there's an education budget. Let me tell you what that means. Entertainment is Netflix.
So there's an entertainment budget and an education budget, and he wants you to get educated with his coaching program.
Yeah, which is, it's like a multi-level thing. Like, they pretend that there's some sort of secret set of skills that they keep behind like the paywall or at the expensive conferences. And then when you get there, then you learn the secrets. But then the secret is actually the conference itself is a money grab scam. So when you get there, you learn the secret, but then you also have to buy in and then like bring 6 friends to also pay $2,800 or whatever it is.
And I don't know if this is multi-level. It's probably not even, but it's that vibe. It's that predatory sales vibe, right?
Because there's a certain thing. You work hard, you work on your fitness, your discipline, all that stuff. Okay.
That's how they kind of rope you in.
Yeah. And then like, oh, how do I work on my mindset? And then you got to send Andy Elliott $4,200, and you got to bring 6 friends and do the same thing. And then we're going to get to the real good stuff.
Yeah, cashier's check only, right?
That's kind of how it is.
And then also this thing is like you see the younger kids doing it, and it's like, what are you going to coach me on? They're coaching other coaches on how to coach other people, and they all just print out these same like social media type guys who just are constantly like selling. I got all this network. Look at this. And I say, you know what? When I have a cheaper client, I say, open your bank account. Give me your login info. Hand it over. Let me log in. Let me make a few transfers, and we'll get this done.
Yeah. Send me the code your bank sent you because they thought it was fraud.
There should be a 6-digit code. The Bank of America just texted you. Can you shoot that over to me, boss? They say like phrases like that. And you know, there's some good sales people. If you're in a sales role, just make sure you're selling something that people actually need and want. And then you don't have to get like gamey or scammy or big on social media to do it. And, you know, this guy's obviously pretty low. If it were a multi-level marketing, he's obviously on the lower end. He's getting desperate.
That's a good point. And then Gary Vee kind of does this too. Obviously, Gary Vee has a lot of different businesses.
Yeah.
But a lot of Gary Vee's business is pretending that anyone could be a social media influencer and then giving the tips you need to be an influencer. But 99.9% of the people watching don't have what it takes. And he kind of knows that. But he sells them the info anyway. And then if they fail, well, you never had it. But like he'll sell it to you whether you can or not.
Yeah.
It's like you jingle your keys and go, can I have a beer? You go, I don't know if you're driving. Here you go. Yeah, you might not be driving.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to play another clip from him?
Yeah, let's just give him another taste because this is and then it's all bullshit. It's all fucking lies. So here's an example of a lie.
My superpower is not that I'm like the greatest closer. I could pick up my phone, I could call 50 people right now, and I could tell them to wire me $100,000, and they would. I could say, hey, bro, Andy's got a bonus this month, man. If you'd wire me $100,000, that'd be great. And they'd all do it.
You should do that then. You should really do that. That's $5 million, right?
And I think that is a talking point that he learned from the conference where it's like, oh yeah, make a video and say that you have a network that'll get you $100,000. It's like, do you actually have the network, or are you just saying that because that's one of the things you say? My network is all these people with money.
Yeah. And I think this is one of those things that's like always been a pitfall of society. There's always been these type of gurus, and they just graduate or cycle out every 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Grant Cardone types, Andy Elliott types.
Yeah.
It's just, and then they suck guys in. They suck young men in who are like kind of looking to make a change and just get that cashier's check, brother.
Yeah, lots of sucking going on.
Yeah.
And then Gary Brecka had that too with the Cardones. He's putting some videos out how the Cardones kind of just like took money from him and didn't give him any of the upside.
Yeah, but they got great lawyers. They got great lawyers, and they will send a cease and desist of some kind.
And we do need to put a little disclaimer or qualifier here. Andy Elliott is obviously in great shape. I'm fat. So he might see this video and go, oh, this guy's fat. I don't have to listen to what he says. But Andy Elliott, if you'd like to do an Oklahoma drill, I would challenge you to that.
Okay, that's easy. Now
that protects my downside.
Exactly.
So when he calls me fat, I'll go, okay, but I challenge you to an Oklahoma drill, which is like a physical combat thing where two people in football pads go like this and whatever happens, happens. So if you think I'm fat, Andy Elliott, why don't you go do an Oklahoma drill against me?
That should be easy. If it was a fat guy, that should be an easy Oklahoma drill.
You got me. I'm just a fat guy. Okay, next we're going...
I'll buy your course if you beat him in an Oklahoma drill, Andy Elliott.
That's like a trap you can kind of set. So it's like, so you can do anything physically better than me?
He'll counter with a pull-ups competition or something.
Yeah. We'll do one of each. So we'll do the pull-ups competition. You'll win that. I'll do probably like 3.5. And then we'll do the Oklahoma drill. Yep. And whatever happens, happens. I've never even tried it before. Just like suckering him in like a pool shark.
Yeah, like throwing darts with your left hand until he agrees.
And I can pick anything? Okay. Oklahoma drill.
Oklahoma drill. Meet me in the A gap.
Okay. Next, we're going on to the fat discrimination story. A group of fat people went to Thailand and they got discriminated against.
You ever felt discriminated against during travel? I recently hosted 13 plus-size travelers in Thailand, and unfortunately during our trip, we were discriminated against. My travelers were super excited to visit the floating market, but I could feel the mood shift as soon as we started to get on the boats. I make sure that all of the companies that I work with are aware that my clients and I are all plus-size travelers, so that hopefully that can minimize the shock and awe when we arrive. After the tour, I checked in with all of my clients, and unfortunately, one of them was called some disturbing names in English by one of the boat staff. In response, we declined to give a tip and contacted the management of that boat company. I've also decided not to bring my clients back to the floating market. What would you do if this happened to you?
The management of the boat company. What? You don't pay?
You don't pay? No tip? Bad customer.
And it's funny because it's a fat group where everyone's pushing probably 3 bills. There's 13 of them. Yeah. In Thailand, everyone's like 5'3", 110 pounds.
110 is heavy in Thailand.
So when 13 300-pound plus people come around, it's like the circus coming through.
Yeah, it's actually insane to do that. And it's also never been done before in the history of the world, right? This is just a brand new phenomenon. And then if you're going to join a plus-size travel group, you're on the way fat end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
A pretty heavy guy doesn't join a plus-size travel group.
I don't even know they had groups for people like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a brand new phenomenon. And then you're like, oh, the Thai people, they
don't like it.
Yeah, they can't be mean at all. They can't see this fucking freak fest that just spawned out of nowhere because some overweight black woman is starting a tour group. Notice how the whole video, they're not showing themselves. They don't want to reveal themselves.
That makes sense. They want to just paint the Thai people as hateful.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, he knows barely any English, right?
And they complain. You know, when I order something from China, I'm a Chinese 5X. Do I go, oh, I'm not 5 times the size of a Chinese person? I just take it, whatever.
Yeah, that's just reality.
That's just reality. That's just the shirt that fits. If the shirt fits, you wear it.
Yeah.
Okay, our next story.
But I don't know. They want the world to bend to their giant 13-person fat group. That doesn't seem realistic to me, right? You kind of have to go with reality and acknowledge, hey, we're a giant 13-person fat group. Maybe not everyone's going to like that. Not everyone's cup of tea.
You're going to get some Asians going, whoa!
Yeah.
And taking pictures and it's like an event for them.
You're causing a scene.
You're causing a scene.
And if you can't acknowledge that, then I don't know why you're traveling.
All right. Our next story is a guy trying to hit on a girl, but then the girl, we called it in the intro, the fridge protects the snacks.
Excuse me. You have amazing eyes. I truly mean that. I truly mean that. I walk past.
Yeah, if you live here one more time, I swear to God it will fucking castrate you.
Oh, okay.
That's my down.
Okay. Maybe, huh? Can you try them on? Why do you want to try them on?
Don't talk to
No, you can't. You're not allowed. You're not allowed.
Why?
You're not allowed.
Why?
Because I haven't got your number and that doesn't comply.
Can I stick my...
Yeah, of course you can.
Please?
Yeah, if I get your number, you can have a glasses.
You can have my number.
All right.
Take my number.
You know, back in the day, girls would get approached by a guy who would do a spiel or try to make them laugh or impress them or talk to them. And if they like them, they let it keep going. And if they don't, they shut you down and move on. But part of the feminist movement was demonizing approaching women because not all women get approached. So now no women can get approached.
I don't know if that was the cause. That was part of the cause, but it was all like creeps approaching people.
Or they played it like if a guy approaches you, that's toxic masculinity. And that was like, that idea was pushed forward by a person who doesn't ever get approached, and they're sad that they don't get approached. And if they don't get approached equally as everyone else, then no one should get approached. I think that's kind of how it played out.
And then now cute women, good-looking women are like, nobody approaches me posting on Reddit. Is something wrong? Nobody approaches me anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, this girl said she'll castrate you if you compliment her eyes again. So.
Yeah, and then if you do get approached, it's probably by like a handsy Pakistani group.
Oh, they approach.
Yeah,
they didn't learn any of the last 10 years of stuff. They just showed up.
Exactly. Okay, let's get into some trans shit.
All right, let's get deep.
Go to old-fashioned trans shit. Lily, is that her name?
Yeah.
Her.
Lily! I love when they pick the names. I love when they pick the most girly, dainty names.
So Lily and her girlfriend.
This is Mr. Sir.
Mr. Sir.
Yeah.
If you're audio only, it's Mr. Sir. Lily had a tough time at a winery because people misgendered her.
Me and my girlfriend were going to a wine castle, and we sat down for our tasting. And at first they were just very rude and didn't really answer our questions, and we didn't really feel welcome. Our server said, "Yes, sir," when I was asking some questions. And I said, "Oh, no, I'm actually not a sir." And instead of apologizing, or I don't know what else you would do other than apologize, they just walked away. Did not acknowledge what I said, just walked away. We saw the server like whispering to a manager, and a few minutes later, the manager came over and, really big smile, not acknowledging at all that the misgender had happened. And I say, "Hey, look, the last person, they misgendered me and that really hurt." And they just walked away. And the manager said, "Oh, well, some people just aren't as progressive as you." And then they gave us a nice little chocolate that suggested they wanted our money but didn't want to say sorry. So we left and got a full refund.
Got a full refund on the wine experience. I'm sure it wasn't cheap.
Yeah,
because
it's like a $100 ticket or something.
Yeah, because the guy who ran the company wants to live in reality. He has to refund you.
Yeah, you, a visible man, got called sir. And then that's all the content that this guy does. And then he's shocked when one person doesn't really fully go along with his end rape. route. Like
Yeah.
what he desires the outcome to be.
Yeah,
right?
you need to participate in his sex fetish because he gets bricked from it.
Yeah, this is exactly like the 13 giant fat people in Thailand. They wanted the world to bend to their view. And Mr. Sir wanted the waiter to feel really bad and call him a lady. And unfortunately, like, you can't just bend the world to exactly what you want. You know?
Unfortunately.
It's the same theme, I would say.
You can do it a little bit and get a free wine tasting.
You got a free chocolate, but that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, not good enough. And then next, this is another person doing sex fetish shit in public. Nothing crazy, just at the store filming themselves. And they're getting off.
Oh, he loves that
I was at
shit.
the store today. Yeah.
I'm Heather.
I'm going to do some poppers later. And then the reason we bring this up with the sex fetish stuff is almost 2/3 of transgender women in prisons are serving sentences for sex offenses. That's a lot.
Yeah, and this was from the UK, and I think it says some 151 of the 245 trans women in prison at the end of March 2024 have been convicted of at least one sexual offense, according to government figures. That's a rate of 62%, and is an increase on previous figures, which showed that 49% of trans women who reported their legal gender as male had a conviction for a sexual offense.
So it's going up.
And then if you compare this rate to all just normal men crimes, this is the rate is far higher than that of the male prison population as a whole, with about 17% of men in prison in England and Wales having been convicted of sexual offenses.
Yeah.
So not shocking, not surprising at all to people like us who are paying attention to the sex fetish shit. But a lot of them are sex offenders.
It's good to provide some evidence and context.
Yeah, it comes later. You vibe it out, and then the data comes later, and then it turns out you were right. So
Exactly.
It's good to circle back.
All right, next we're in Urban Decay. Our first story from Urban Decay is what looks like a new arrival, a migrant, in school. And look what happens.
Is it fake?
Yeah.
I don't believe. Let me see it.
Si quiere le rompo.
Does it have alcohol? You know alcohol?
No, porque
Can I hold it?
si quiere la toma todo.
Security.
No, this is alcohol.
No alcohol. No, mister.
¿Quién le dijo? Ese
Mister, no. La moto. Pendejo, ¿para qué traes esa mierda y te van a chingar?
So he brings beer to school, a little cerveza for lunch. But we need this kid to code. This kid's a coder. But as you guys know, a lot of this is just third world babysitting. They don't come here trying to be American. They're doing things that obviously aren't compatible with our society. And then you have like the pussy teacher.
It's like, there is alcohol in this, and then he puts it back in the child's bag.
And he runs to get security.
Yeah.
But like that's the type that thinks like this is honorable, or it's good to have a mix of students, some who don't speak English, because it's virtuous and it's good and I'm helping and this is good. But the bad guys, once again, similar to the fire example, the bad guys know multiculturalism doesn't work, and then they lead block with the teacher and these types, these liberal progressive people who think, oh, this is virtuous. This is going to give this kid a chance. This kid's just like any other kid. And then when it doesn't work and the experiment fails, I guess we can blame the progressives, but the bad guys knew all along it was never going to work out.
Yeah. And then I guess, what is this, an English as a second language class? The entire background chatter is all Spanish. Is that what American classes are like these days?
That is what American classes are like these days. There's actually a comment, maybe it's a tweet that reiterates that.
It says, in California, these students get special privileges in all public schools as well, with something called the LCFF equity multiplier and Title III funding. These kids get probably 20 to 30% of additional funding per pupil than all of your American kids. We don't hate our government enough.
And then I've heard firsthand stories from show watchers who say that when their kids were in schools with a lot of illegals or children of illegals, the interpreter talks just as loud as the teacher, which is very distracting. You can't really get anything done. This has been going on for a long time, but obviously it's getting worse now. But there is good news. Well, I guess semi-good news. Can you read this tweet?
Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, says the administration is considering setting up a hotline to allow Americans to report illegal migrants suspected of committing crimes.
You know, that sounds good. The hotline, you call and you report people, but then it says suspected of committing crimes. I think being here illegally is a crime, right?
Yeah, there's that language again where you're hedging and only talking about deporting criminal illegals. And we have to reverse the last 4 years of asylum abuse that happened under Joe Biden. You guys know that, right?
Yeah, everyone has to go back. Everyone knows that, right?
Hello, I'm calling the hotline. An illegal immigrant here I'm suspecting of committing a crime. He's here illegally.
Yeah.
Click. Like, that's it, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
That hedging language that we're only targeting criminals. And it's like, everyone's a criminal who came here like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's not the, I get it. That's who's first. That's who's first, right? But we better not be stopping there.
That's what I'm hoping for, too.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, these kids can't really learn properly. And then, you know, it's because their parents are anti-racist or whatever. Here's what the kids in China are doing. This child is 3.5 years old. See the Asians? They have a vision. They have a regiment. They take reps.
Yeah.
There's a plan.
There is a plan. It's actually funny to me. Imagine kind of like doing this as a 3.5-year-old and then you don't make the Olympics, though. That's a lot of wasted time on a stupid fucking sport.
But you learn discipline.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, next we're getting to our Chicago laptop story. We covered this last year, the amount of laptops that went missing in Chicago public schools. They give the kids a laptop and it never comes back. The numbers are out for last year, and take a look.
Dollars down the drain at CPS in the midst of a budget crisis. This brand new report revealing tens of thousands of laptops, iPads, and cell phone hotspots were lost or stolen in the 2023-2024 school year. And thousands of those devices, bought and paid for with your tax dollars, ending up in other countries. More than 8,000 devices detected outside of Illinois. A majority overseas in 140 countries like Azerbaijan, Barbados, China, Ethiopia, Jordan, and Nicaragua. This report finding CPS's inventory process lacks accountability, recommending the district resolve asset management issues. Since it's paying for geo-tracking services it, quote, barely used.
So all the laptops are gone again. And there was one story within it where two siblings lost 9 devices.
That was from the 2021-2022 school year. So that wasn't this one, but that was the original story we covered where it was 77,000 Chromebooks, iPads, hotspots lost. And then that was one pair of siblings where 9.
Yeah.
They just kept giving them fresh ones.
And they did a lick, or whatever they call it. They hit a lick.
But yeah, so this is a constant problem that happens every year. They never improve. It's like the costliest shit ever. And honestly, some sort of Chromebook in the hands of a kid in China is probably better than a Chicago public school kid.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah, they probably learn more. The Chicago school kid made $80 or whatever.
I can't use this.
The scalp value of a laptop was.
Kid goes, yeah. My son will use that.
Son will do math. Son will do math.
All right, well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're moving on to Uplifting Gold. We have a very Uplifting Gold section today. First one is this. This room got flooded. And if you look around the room, you see the flags.
It's kind of like a gay kids hangout zone.
Everyone's safe here, and people have sexual criminal records, but we don't really talk about it. We gave him a job anyway.
But we also have a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So it's God's wrath?
A little biblical. It's biblical. Yeah. That's what I would say as well. All right, next. This is really cool, and I'm going to extrapolate here and make a point that I don't think people might get.
Hey, Rory. Some lady on the internet says you're cold. You should probably come inside. Okay, you just stay there.
It is bedtime. Let's go.
They like it.
Yeah, you get it. The Huskies like the snow.
I bet there's something in those dogs' genes that make them like the cold and the snow like that. I bet they're built for cold weather.
That's your thesis? That's the point you were going to make?
Yeah.
That's shockingly obvious.
Because they like it.
How's the neck? You're going downhill? That's shockingly obvious.
But isn't that wouldn't that explain why some dogs love the snow?
They were bred for it, yes.
They were bred for it. So you agree?
This type of shit like this makes me say anybody who has a husky in Florida should just get lost. Like you actually are
killing him.
You're a criminal. Yeah.
He doesn't like that.
Yeah.
All right, our next story.
I can't tell if you're even doing a bit or not. I mean, it's just retarded.
Of course the dog is bred for that.
Yeah.
They pull the sleds. Iditarod? You think I know that? All right, our next...
Those aren't huskies.
Whatever. They're snowplow dogs. All right, next is something similar, but humans instead of dogs. Isn't that nice?
Baby likes it.
Similar thing.
Not at all.
I think genetically, I don't believe in past lives because that's not biblical. But there's something in that baby's genes where the Irish music gets them going. They know to move the feet and then to bend the leg. There's something there.
Violins and stuff, that's too recent in our genetic history to have an impact like that. I think it just sounds naturally good. And people figured that out, and then they can like it very early without even knowing what it is.
Well, yeah. I guess somewhere...
That's not the same as the husky.
It's similar to the husky.
Not even close.
It's similar.
All right.
All right, we'll agree to disagree. Okay. Next, this kid is an old soul.
Yeah.
You got a lot of work to do?
Yeah. I gotta water grass, pick stuff up, pick sticks, chairs, all kinds of stuff up.
What about the chickens? You gonna feed them?
Yeah.
You do? What about the eggs?
Yeah, I'll check. I'm gonna check them. I'm gonna check the mail.
Well, I already checked the mail.
Okay. Any?
Yeah, we did get a few things. Bills.
Okay, I'm gonna run over there and water the grass over there. I'll be in the time 1. Okay?
What time?
1.
1? Well, it's like, it's 5:40 right now.
Okay. I'll be in at 1. It's 5:40. Yeah, that's cool. That kid, does that kid not have genetics of working people?
You're losing it, brother. You're on till...
We're close to the end.
I know, and you're losing sight.
All right. This next kid, does he not have Dean Martin in his family bloodline?
I actually haven't seen this one.
You see how he connects with each person?
Yeah, he's doing crowd work at the old folks' home.
That makes it worth the money. Mm-hmm. Next is just uplifting. It's just cool. The water in this thing froze not flat, which I don't even like that. I like flat better because you go slide on it.
Yeah, you go ice skating. You play.
You go
hockey.
ice skating. This is like.
How does that even happen?
Can't even walk on it. Got cold quick, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
That one's stupid. You put that in.
I ain't no geologist.
All right. Next, we have some shout-outs. That's the end. We have some shout-outs. Happy birthday to Kathy Wimberly, whose birthday is today, the 14th. Her and her husband are big show watchers. And actually, I'm going to meet them this weekend. They're coming to Florida, and they're giving us a gift. And Kathy does custom cookies.
Wow.
So she's making custom cookies for us that I'm going to freeze until I'm out of keto.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
Happy birthday, Kathy. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys. A happy birthday to Carlos, whose birthday was on December 27th, but we missed it. It's from your son, Aiden. He made this happen. They believe my schizo rants, they said.
Happy birthday, Carlos. That's sad. You guys can hang out together.
No, you guys are well-rounded people. And then happy birthday to Dan on January 9th. Happy birthday, Dan. He's an RRB type.
Dan, no last name, just Dan.
Dan.
That could fit several show watchers.
January 9th, Dan.
Yeah.
That's a little more specific.
I wonder how many we have.
And then Recycled Rocker, he sent us a thing on Twitter.
Mr. Trump, is Flecker's Talks the best news podcast of all times?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We like that. Very cool. Thank you, sir. And then we had an old picture of Trump henchman maxing, which is very cool.
Yeah, there you go.
There he is, confirmed show watcher.
And then he's henchman maxing, and then he has henchmen behind him. He has sub henchmen.
That's a good point.
Look at those guys.
Yeah, those are real goons.
I know.
Those are former NYPD, now your private security
Former
types.
FBI.
And then we have a show watcher, the hench kid, Mandy's son, did this video for us because they loved Henchman Maxing 2 so much. Let it rip.
Hensies for the kid. I got a new boss. A real DEI hire. She's a girl boss. They call her the cat lady.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
Hey, is this the henchman? I got a job for you.
Yeah, I can do that job.
My followers will love this.
Posted the job on Instagram? Oh, DEI hire.
Very cool. Henchman Maxing.
Oh, nice job.
Love to
Cinematic
see
masterpiece.
it. Cinematic masterpiece similar to ours. If you guys want to see Henchman Maxing 2, if you haven't seen it yet, FleckusTalks.com is the website. Episode's done. FleckusTalks.com for Bonus Land dropping right now. If you're watching to this point and you love the show, you probably like Bonus Land. Just please sign up. It's an emergency. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you on Friday.
Very good. Fleckus show. Fleckus show is very, very good. Fleckus show is very, very nice.